hours, so I needed to be organized. So let's get down to talking about your joints. And when I looked at the intake form, thank you very much, I noticed that we pretty much have a good representation of all the joints in this room and on Zoom. And so, yeah, we got a lot of work to do. So even if you're not, feet and toes aren't your thing, we're going to just cover it all. And, it's always good to move them because that's prophylactic effort as well. So learning how to work all the joints so that you can keep things from happening or keep things at bay. Okay, so the main type of arthritis that we're going to be working with today is osteoarthritis. So that's the wear and tear. I'm sure you know, if you're dealing with it, what that feels like and how it impacts your life. And so there's all kinds of things you can do to reduce the swelling and the pain, and different ways that you can move through your life so that you can get things done. And so in this class today, we're going to be working with how to address the wear and tear, where the cartilage between the bones wears down, then there's rubbing in there and little nerves get exposed, and then that's when things start to really talk to you. Rheumatoid arthritis is the autoimmune arthritis. There's lots of different arthritises, but where the autoimmune system attacks the lining of the joints. And so so in there, it's a lot of times a flare up for a little while, and then it'll go in remission. Medicine can help with that a lot. Usually happens in binary. So if you have it on both sides, like both wrists, both fingers, and oftentimes it will feel really hot and need to stop what you're doing. And so if anybody has rheumatoid arthritis in here, I actually wasn't able to see if those specifications, but if you do, and this actually goes for anybody, but especially with rheumatoid, to just take a rest from any of the movement that we're going to do. And I'll get a little bit more into all the different ways of approaching the practice, but especially being careful with rheumatoid arthritis. Can I ask, does anybody have that here? Okay, all right. Actually really good to know. Okay, so for both of these types of arthritis, even though we're all osteoarthritis in here, it's really good to go slow and gentle. Slow and gentle. And one of these big ahas that I had when I was talking to a colleague of mine recently was the joints, when they get inflamed, it's because there's been more pressure on them somehow. So there's a compression happening, and posture, repetitive movement, injury. Sometimes it's weight, sometimes the joints will get compressed because of more weight that we have on our bodies, and hereditary factors. So all those things can contribute. And so if the muscles, so we want to focus on the muscles on either side of the joint. And when we start to feel the joint doing the effort, that's usually a sign that we're gonna, like a precursor to a painful moment or episode. Does that make sense? Because a lot of times when we do our movements, and it's something to start thinking about if you haven't already in your day and your functional life, is how am I even like catching a doorknob? How am I letting go of something? Am I just dropping and letting the joint just fall and take an impact? And so what we're going to be working on a lot today is the strength on the muscles above and below the joints, and then mobility within the joints to create spaciousness for circulation and to reduce pain. So if you have swelling, then it's going to become more painful. So we want to move that out. So a flushing, cleansing kind of visualization as you do the practice is encouraged. So our main goals are to reduce pain, improve function, and minimize damage to your joints. Does that sound good? Yeah, I thought so. Sorry, I'm getting more into the middle of the screen. So how we're going to do this, and I've talked a little bit about it already, is learning how to stabilize the joints by strengthening the surrounding muscles, increasing circulation in the tissues with gentle movement, and working in your range of motion. And this is really important, to work in your range of motion. So you might see me taking my arm up like this, or your neighbor. But if this is the place where you feel like, oh, if I go any higher, I know I'm going to really like grate on that area, and I'll walk out of here and just, you know, be flattened for the rest of the day, maybe the weekend. So stay within your no pain zone, and then paying attention to how you're moving in that joint. Is it spacious or is it tense? So paying attention to that. And then we're going to work on some relaxation techniques, which includes the breath, how to work with the breath with your movement, and maybe some visualizations, if that's something you want to go, or a felt sense of something like cleansing and flushing kind of action. Sometimes cooling is a good way to go too, if you're feeling hot inflammation. And then managing symptoms to improve your quality of life. So all of this, that's sort of like part of our goals. So as you're doing these movements, think about how you can incorporate them into your daily life, where you could fit them in. We're going to be doing chair things. So if you're, you know, at your kitchen table or at your desk, you know, you can just have a little break, you know, a self-care break, and do these things that way. Kitchen counters are fabulous. Toilets, up and down off the toilet, you know, like how are you doing that movement? And are you using your muscles, or are you just relying on the gravity, right? Or the handrail, or whatever it is. So learning a little bit more of how to use these things in your daily life is part of the goals, not just coming to yoga class all the time to get that. And I'm hoping, we are recording this, that we can have this available to you, because there's going to be a lot going on in the next little while here, and so that you'll have some reference points to get to. Okay. All right. So what else? My 50 pages here. Okay. All right. So I already talked about listening to your body and what it needs during the course of this class. We'll have moments, pause times to do that. If you feel pain or your breath becomes irregular, those are good signs that something needs to just rest and relax. I'll offer options. So please feel free to shout out, Zoom people included, what you don't understand, can't hear. I'm feeling pain. Is there something, another way I can do this? But I just want to invite you that you're always welcome to stop and rest. You don't have to do the full amount of repetitions. So don't hesitate to speak up. Okay, so with that, anybody want to speak up? Can everybody hear me? Kay wants to speak up. We're going to go from the toes all the way up to the head. We're going to, like I said, I looked at everybody's intake and I was like, okay, we're doing it all. So we'll get there. Any Zoom people have any questions? Okay, I just want to give you an opportunity to, you know, just unmute yourself and, you know, call it out. Okay. All right. So you will notice on the floor a ball or a can of soda or whatever the can is. And so some of you, okay. And I can share too. Okay, and then you have an extra one? You did. Okay. So everybody has either a ball or a can. Is that right? And then Zoom people, you have something there? Okay, good. So a can of soda can work too, or a water bottle, like a hard water bottle. You can, so pick a foot, any foot, and start rolling a bottom of one foot. Pat, do you need one, Pat? There you go. I'll use the can of soda. No, I got this. I won't be doing it for long. So what we want to do is wake up the joints. So by rolling a ball, this is something you can have in front of your favorite chair. Does everybody have a favorite chair? I have a favorite chair. And so it's great. I mean, unless you have a dog that likes to chew on them, you're going to have to strategize that way. But you can also, like I said, you can use a can. This one happens to be nice and cool. But get up into the toes too. So going like fanning the toes over the ball. And just imagining as you do this, every surface of the bottom of that particular foot there. The inner arch, the outer arch, across the base of the toes, into the heel. You can do some circles into the heel. So as you do this, and we'll switch feet in a moment, I'd like you to just come a little more internal and think about how you woke up this morning, how you felt, and how you walked in the room today. Were there any joints that were bothering you today? And this is without going into the story of, oh, I did this and I did that and I shouldn't have, and all of that stuff. Just notice how you came into the room. Maybe it's not about the joints. Maybe it's you felt distracted or worried or kind of tired. And so I invite you now to switch feet. And also think about, what is the best way for you to approach this practice today? What would be a good intention for you? Do you tend to muscle your way through things and it would be better for you to pull back a little bit? Would it be good for you to focus a lot on the relaxation aspect? Of course, we'll do the strengthening aspect, but are you really tense? And is that something you'd like to focus on, not only for your body and your mind? Just thinking about what would bring you balance through this practice today. Is there an area of your body or your mind, your breath, that would need a little extra attention? This is a good time to do that. Okay, does everybody feel sufficiently rolled? Sure, Pamela. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And lengthening the back of the leg. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like you're doing the right things. We're going to do a little bit of that today too. Yeah. Just want to see my Zoom people. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll come back to the ball. So don't let it roll away too far. And we're going to start with our, this is what I call the wake up in the morning routine. Because you probably know that when you've been sedentary for a little while, like sleeping, sitting in a car, watching a movie, sitting at the desk working for hours, maybe longer than you should, that this kind of goes from the bottom up, kind of wakes everything up. It might be good to get used to doing this every morning. Are you ready? Okay. All right. So we're going to start off with the toes. And does anybody in here play the piano? Or seen anybody play the piano? Can you do it with your toes? So just lifting the toes. So the feet stay on the floor, but you're just lifting the toes, and it's like you're tinkling the piano keys with your toes. See if you can articulate as much as you can each toe. It's kind of hard, isn't it? Super hard. But just go with it for a little while. Imagine like a flourish on the piano with your toes, one way and then the other way, like one pinky toe over to the big toe, and then from the big toe over to the pinky toe. Okay, and then just let them settle. And now you're going to just lift the whole toe side of your, let's start with your right foot, one foot, and then the whole heel side, and the toe side, and the heel side. Just rock it back and forth. So we're getting into the ankle, but we're also pressing into the toes as you lift the heel side. Okay, then the other side, the other foot, lift the left toe side, lift the heel side. So just rocking back and forth. And when you lift the heel side, see if you can spread the toes into the floor any amount that's okay for you. Okay, and now see if you can alternate. So one toe side, one heel side, back and forth. Almost like you're walking along. Okay. And then go ahead and let the feet flat on the floor. And we're going to play a little bit with the outer edge and the inner edge. So the outer edge, you're going to lift the big toe side of your foot and see if you can stretch any amount into the outer ankle. And then press the big toe side and see if you can stretch any amount the inside of the ankle. So you want to keep the whole blade, I'm calling this the blade, on either side of your foot on the floor. So you're from big toe to the inner heel of the big toe side, you're rolling in. And I see some people are going more like that. That's fine. Doesn't matter. You're just getting into, keep the whole blade of the side of your foot, inner or outer, on the floor as you rock back and forth. So your legs will go in and out, but you're getting into the inner ankle and outer ankle there, stretching. Okay. Pause for a moment. How do your feet and toes feel? A little more alive? Okay, let's move up to the knees. So starting with the right knee, just extend, and this is just wherever you can go, remember, and place the foot down. And we'll just stick with that right knee. Reach. And if you can, go ahead and push the heel and open the toes, like you could see daylight between every toe. And if you can't, just imagine that you can. Okay, one more time, that right leg extending out and then coming down. So the hinge of the knee. And then the other side. Crack, okay. And again, if extending all the way is too much for you, then you're just going to go easy and maybe not fully extend the leg. Okay, now alternate. And thinking about your knee as a hinge, back and forth, and you could even look down at your knee. Does it wobble? What's happening there when you straighten the leg? The quadriceps will strengthen, and as you bend the leg, the hamstrings will be contracting. Feeling the muscles on either side there. Okay, and then relax. Okay, I saw in some of the intake that there's hip replacements, hip limitations, so do the best you can with this. Sit up tall, and your right hip goes in circles. So your right hand can just ride on top like a little passenger. So we're getting into that hip joint, warming the hip joint up. Within your range of motion, go opposite direction, 2 different directions there. And then place that foot down. Go to the other side, 2 different directions. So about 4 times in each direction. And then do the other side, sitting up tall. Oftentimes, this is an easy one to slouch. And then place your foot down. And then instead of the leg rotating in the hip socket, now we're going to rotate the pelvis over the hip socket. So like hula hooping. And if anyone has a bulging disc or herniated disc, be careful about arching your low back too much here. And then the opposite hula hoop, both directions. Good. And then back to center, sit up tall. So cat cow, we're going to slide the hands. This is for the spine. We're going to slide the hands back and forth. So as you inhale, you're going to slide the hands back towards your hips and open the chest and just gently lift the chin, not too much. And then as you exhale, you'll round the back gently backwards and slightly bend the neck down, bow the chin. Back and forth. The inhale is the opening, slide the shoulders back. So this gets into the neck and the shoulders and even into the pelvis a little bit as you rock the pelvis back and forth too. As you inhale, it's like your tail lifts away from the chair back there. And then as you exhale, the tail tucks. 2 more times. Inhaling, opening, shoulders back. Careful with your neck. And then let's end on this opening, the lift, and then come back to neutral, tall spine. And then rotation in the spine. So be careful here as well. Make sure that you're not slumped. Never turn on a slumped spine. So think about that when you're backing up your car. Bucket seats, bad combination. Okay. So if you could get a little lumbar pillow or something in your car, and then if you need to back up, of course, mirrors are really good. But if you need to twist around, that you're doing it on a tall spine. Okay, so let's take care of that now. Nice tall spine, inhale. And as you exhale, pick a side, any side, and just gently rotate one way. Inhale, come back. Exhale, rotate the other way. Inhale is the lengthening up. Exhaling is the turning. So not so much in the neck, a little bit in the neck. We tend to want to wrench the neck around, but see if you can keep it generally in line with your sternum, maybe a little beyond the sternum, but not much. We often tend to crank the neck around when we're doing twists, which again is not really using muscular action, it's using force. Okay, one more time on each side, whatever side you started on, make sure the opposite side is what you end on, and come back to neutral. Okay, we're making our way up. What's next? Shoulders. I heard shoulders. Okay, so let's start with the right shoulder and do some rolls. One direction about 4 times, and then the other direction about 4 times. And then the other side. Both directions, and then at the same time. Both shoulders going one direction together, both shoulders going the other direction together. And then kayaking or figure eighting, however you want to think about it. So you're going one direction in your kayak and then switch and go the other direction in your kayak, and try to keep your elbows out of it. Just try to motivate with the shoulders. Remember, we're trying to use the muscles. So you're not chugging along like a train here with the elbows. Okay, and then go ahead and relax there. And then incorporating the arms a little bit with this, but definitely in the shoulders, is internal rotation, so thumbs down, and external rotation, thumbs out. Internal rotation, so we're rotating in this joint here. It's meant to rotate. A ball and socket. So you're rotating the ball of your upper arm bone as you do this, again, in your range of motion. Good. And then go ahead and place the hands here on your diaphragm. You want to get cozy with the diaphragm today. Elbows, as you inhale, open the elbows and close the elbows. Another hinge joint here, like your knee. Opening and closing. And if it's hard for you to raise your arms up, you don't need to raise your arms too high. and opening and closing. And now let's go to your right wrist. Stop sign. And then careful, you're not just going to just drop your wrist. You're going to curl it under like a fern, you know, all like coiled up in the spring. And then open, stop sign. And curl under. So as much as you can get your fingers to open and spread on the stop sign. And curl under. And again. And let's do the other wrist. Stop sign. Curl under. So you're doing it really mindfully in that wrist. Gravity will take the wrist down, but you want to use the muscle to curl it under. And last time on that side, and then doggy paddle. There's some cognitive benefits here as well. Okay. Okay, and then circles. And the fingers can be loose or a little fist, doesn't matter. Opposite direction. Okay, and then piano keys. Play the piano with the fingers. A little easier than the toes, yes? Okay, flashing lights. Can you opposite them? Okay, and then fingers are open. So this is the fan. Open the fan, close the fan. Open the fan, close the fan. I forgot one direction on the wrist. So we're going to do that as the fingers are closed or closed. Let's just do closed. And just kind of like this is a little snake head, but you're only moving at the wrist. So you want to do this lateral without moving the elbows. You're all doing really good at this. I've been practicing this a whole bunch and my elbow goes all over the place, but you guys, I have to hold it there and just do this. So if you notice that your elbow is going all over the place, the other hand can assist. Okay. And then go ahead and just do a little octopus arms, little undulation all the way through the shoulders, elbows, wrists. You can get the fingers involved, tinkling the piano keys as you octopus the arms. And then go ahead and rest the palms onto the thighs. We're going to get into the neck now, heading up. So again, sit up tall if you've kind of given in to gravity there. And you're going to take your right ear to the right shoulder. So you're stretching the left side. Inhale back up. So you can do this with the breath. Same side. Inhale up. 4 times on each side. So when you've done 4 on the right side, then do 4 on the left side. So the shoulder stays passive. The ear is just gently tilting. So try not to distort your spine. See if you can isolate movement in the neck, which might mean that you don't go as far. Okay, and after you've done 4 times there, head upright. Nice and tall again. So we tend to jut the chin forward, right? So we want to make sure that we're not doing rotation on a kink in the back of the neck. That's contributing to the grind of the bones. So see if you can, as if you're pressing your head into a wall behind you. And then chin stays parallel to the floor. Rotate the chin to the right. However far you can go. Here, I'll go the same ways. And then back again. And we're going to keep going to the right, just so we don't get dizzy. So 4 times, keeping that feeling like your head is pressing back into a board behind you so your chin isn't jutting. After you've done 4 times in that direction, do 4 times in the other direction. And when you're done, you can just bring your head to center till everyone's done. And the last neck thing we're going to do is you're going to imagine that there's a ring or a halo, we're in a church, above your head. Okay, however you want to look at it. And the top of your head is just going to go in that circle. Nice and smooth, few times in one direction. So again, you're not moving your whole spine and body as you do this. Kind of hard, huh? Yeah, because the whole body wants to rotate around. Now go the other direction. So they're like little mini neck circles. The joints, especially the little joints, like your cervical spine, your neck spine, like these little movements for strengthening. And at the same time that you're going around in this circle, you're reaching up through the spine. Okay. All right. So then come to stillness. Hopefully you're not dizzy from your halo breath. Go ahead and do a whole body undulation, whatever feels good for you, to just kind of shake it all the way down to the feet, out through the fingers. Doing a little bit of getting out any tension that came in with you today, rolling it out. Okay, great. And then we're going to go into a breathing practice now. There's three parts to this breathing practice. The first part is, well, I'll just tell the purpose is to calm your nerves, because you know when you get tense that you end up being, little pain can creep up on you a little faster and a little harder. Is that true? Have you experienced that? Yeah. Yeah. And then you get into this loop where you're in pain, and then you get stressed about the pain, and then the pain gets worse, and then you get more stress. You know, it's just like this horrible loop. So that's one of the reasons here for the first part of the breath. The second part is to strengthen your core. So that's all about your spine and your upper body, that compression thing we were talking about. And then the third part is lengthening the exhale. And so that reduces inflammation. So let's start with the first part. Abdominal diaphragmatic breathing, one hand on the chest, one hand on the diaphragm. So your diaphragm is right there at the bottom ribs, attached all the way around. So if you think about a trampoline or like a parachute, you know, the kids, when they play with the parachute and there's kids all the way around and they're, you know, it's like a horizontal shape. And so your diaphragm is in that shape, a little lower in the back side, a little higher on the front side. So the idea with the hand on the chest is that you're relaxing the movement in the chest and the neck and the shoulders. The neck, the chest, the shoulders, mouth breathing are all connected to the stress response. So you want to close your mouth, breathe through your nose. And if you feel movement in your chest, just bring more attention to your diaphragm hand, your lower hand. And oftentimes that's just enough to calm the chest down. And then feel the movement of that diaphragm muscle. It needs exercise just like anything else. Expanding on the inhale and drawing back on the exhale. So again, if you feel your chest heaving, see if you can quiet it down as much as possible. Bringing more attention to that circle shape of the diaphragm. Flattening out and expanding on the inhale. And then it domes up on the exhale. So the belly will go back. So this is calming even just in the hand gesture. Comforting. Okay, so that's our first breath. I'm going to call that calm breathing. We'll keep coming back to the calm breathing. But now we're going to take that top hand that's been on the chest, because I see all of you are really doing a great job of keeping that area nice and passive. Now we're going to activate the belly area. So we're going to go into a core breath. So on the inhale, you'll just feel, so you have one hand above the navel, one hand below the navel now. So your chest hand just moves down. Okay. Then as you inhale, you feel the expansion of the belly, not pushing into the belly, a natural expansion. And then as you exhale, see if you can engage the abdominal muscles so your hands draw back with a little bit more effort. Yeah, I'm seeing it. Inhaling, and it's just a natural opening of the belly. That's what it needs to do to inhale. And then as you exhale, the muscles that you're working are like a corset around your middle. And also noticing if you're getting up here in the chest, then just do a couple normal breaths and calm down there. See if you can draw in around your middle like a hug. And behind your mask, you can do this, make the sound shh, S-H-H-H-H, for your whole exhalation, and see if you can feel any activation in that area. Shh. Did it work? Try it again. So natural inhalation and then shh. And then one more time with the sh sound, or maybe you want to go silent and as if you were making the sh sound. Okay, did that work? Okay, so we did the calming breath, the core breath, and now we're going to do the subtle breath. So we're going to take the volume down. So just, yeah, I'm noticing hands need to move a little bit. Feel free to do that. So we're going to just reduce the volume a little bit and the rate. So slowing it down. So this is actually reducing inflammation in your body and increasing circulation. So just taking a normal inhalation, and those of you in the room, you have your masks, you can feel a little bit of the draw of the air inside your mask. See if you can make it very, 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 very soft of an inhale, not like a big vacuum kind of pull. And then as you exhale, barely feeling the inside of your mask. And those of you on Zoom, you can place your finger there at the top of your lip. And then that's your indication of how forcefully the air and how quickly the air is moving in and out of the nose. So see if you can bring the volume down, the rate down, using that calming breath, the diaphragm, where you had your hands. So here, just one more little cue if you feel pretty good about your connection with that softer, slower, quieter breath, is to notice the pause at the end of the exhale. And if you notice the pause at the end of the exhale and you feel good about it, you're not feeling panicky or anxious about the breath being slowed down, then see if you can just drop into that pause for a second or two. Okay, and then bringing yourself back. Seem pretty calm in the room. Can you hear me okay back there? Okay. You're always welcome to adjust your little spot so you can see me. Okay, so now we're going to get into a little bit more movement. Another chair pose before we stand. I want to just bring your attention to the blankets that you have underneath your chair, however is best for you, to just be able to pull them out without disturbing yourself too much, and have them right in front of your chair in that same perpendicular from the seat. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what we're going to do, because that might be the best way, because I'm going to have you turn to the side. So you'll turn to the side so that one butt cheek is on the chair and the other one is off the chair. And you have the back of the chair for support, and that helps you to sit up tall as well. And then you can take your shin, not your knee, so you might need to move those back. And I'm a smaller person, so I'm going to make that a little higher for me. And have the knee come down as much as you comfortably can. If you are a little more flexible and your hip's okay with it, you can have the leg farther back. So what we're getting into is like traction. Wait, don't do yet. Just watch, please. I know you're eager to just get into it, but hang on because there's more. Okay, so my toes are tucked under. I know probably over there you can't see, but my toes are tucked under first. And then I'm going to windshield wipe the heel with the toes tucked under. So again, that fanning action. And if this is too much for you, you're welcome to have the knee a little more farther forward and do the same thing. Then you're going to put the top of the foot on the floor and give it a little massage the same way. And you're getting into this hip joint back and forth. Then we'll tuck the toes under again. So you just stay there. Take the arm on the outside. And again, within your range of motion, you're going to reach up. So now we're getting into the ribs and a little into the spine. And my fingers are spreading. I'm combining a lot here. And then as you exhale, you're going to make a little fist and pull the elbow down. And then reach up away from that hip. And exhale, make a little fist and pull down. I got a hitchhiker thumb while I'm doing that too. So we're strengthening the shoulder as well. Okay, if anybody needs to look at a variation on that, I can help with that. We'll see. Okay.
Can you, Llewellyne?
Go ahead and turn. Oh, yes.
Can you adjust your laptop a bit so we can see your knees better? Thanks.
Oh, sorry, Iris. There you go. Okay, I will be doing as you're doing. So if you want to, this side of the room turn this way just for our first round, and this side of the room turn this way so we can see, and those in the middle just make a judgment call. I'll go to the same side. So whatever buttock is on the chair is stable there, and your hand is on the back of the chair for support. You're sitting up tall, and you're finding support from your blankets. Oh, you're sitting on one of your blankets. I have an extra one. Hey, sometimes this part is sort of the hardest part, is the setup. There you go. Okay. All right. So then, is everybody settled in your position? Just feeling. Hang on, Andrew. We have something to do first. Just feeling the traction of that hip. This can be enough sometimes. And if this is enough for you, just let it be. You're not putting weight on your knee. The blankets are on the shin. The blankets are on the shin unless your knee's okay with it. But the idea is not to put pressure on your knee here. Okay. Be careful of your knees. How's that working for you over there, Pat? Okay. So middle of the shin. Tuck the toes under as much as you can. See if that pinky toe can get in with the fun. It's okay if it doesn't. They oftentimes don't. And then just start to windshield wipe gently. So the toes are tucked under for the first round. So zoomers. Okay, how does that feel? Any feedback? You're very quiet. Hard? Oh, okay. Here, you can use my blankets. I'm hearing two of you say that. Yeah, go higher on that butt cheek. however you can lift up. You want to take your leg out and be a little more supported? We want you to be able to, so taller people, this is, you know, sitting up a little higher is going to be what you're going to want to do. Who else needed one? Oh, you figured it out. Okay. And you have enough leg support. Did that help?
Yeah, the only thing is that that makes the brain
yes.
lift down there so that it's not supported.
It looks like you got some contact there. That's enough. Yeah. Nope. No, just so that you can feel a little support. Okay. Sorry for those of you who have been at this for a while. Top of the foot on the floor. And roll back and forth across the toes that way. Pinky toe side to big toe side. How's it going on this side of the room? All good? Nancy's speaking for you all. You're all good. Okay. So if it was fairly painful to have your toes tucked under, you're welcome to keep the top of the foot on the floor at this point, or you can tuck the toes, so you can make your choice. And then take the arm that's on the outside out, and just within your range of motion, just get into that side body a little bit. So you're leaning towards the back rest, and then make a little fist and pull the elbow down. And then reach. That's an inhale. Exhale. Can you put that core breath on a little there? Little corset action. So it's more about arching in the spine here. So just do what you can in the shoulder. You don't need to fully reach if that's where you're having trouble. Last time. And pull down. Okay, now coming out of this, just slide that back foot forward. And then come and turn around. Zoom people, I'm trying to go to the range here. So little feedback. Does anybody need something before we go to the other side that you just want to tell me about right now? Really awkward? Uh-huh. The idea is to just get some traction. Sometimes if you pull too hard on that area, it can also talk back. So the idea was to have some support. If you want to try it without support because you're used to it and you know it that way, you're welcome to. So doing the other side, whatever side is yours, to be the other one. The opposite buttock, back thigh. And then once you feel like you've dropped that hip down, you feel it lengthening there in that hip joint, you can tuck the toes under and do your windshield wiper heel. So the idea is to feel the rotation in that hip joint with space happening there. So some people find that the support is just really what they need so that they don't overdo. But what I'm hearing is that maybe that's just too awkward. And so you could try it without it. Now the top of the foot. And again, rotating on the top of the foot, back and forth, a little gentle windshield wiping. Pinky toe to big toe side. Pinky toe to big toe side, nice and gentle. And then finding which side is most supportive for you. So maybe it's the toes tucked under, maybe it's the top of the foot, and then doing the side body. So as you inhale, the arm comes up and you arch into that side body and spread the fingers. And then as you exhale, pull the elbow down and make a little fist. And then inhale and reach. And again, you're not pushing into your max here. And exhale, make a little fist and pull down. Beautiful. Reaching into those side ribs. Can you put on a little core action around your middle now? A little corset. Beautiful. And keep breathing through your nose. Last time. And bring the elbow down. And then coming out of the pose, sliding that back leg forward and swiveling in your seat. Okay, the hips just been really opened. Now we're just going to go the opposite just to give it a little bit of a squeeze. Once it's open, you squeeze it. That's like a sponge, you know, a dish rag twist, you know, where you soak it with all this fluid and then you squeeze it out. So have the legs a little wider, sitting upright in your chair. Inhale, open the chest nice and tall. As you exhale, hinge at the hip crease, right where you were lengthening a moment ago. Now you're going to crease it and take your forearms on your thighs. So here's a back stretch. And the neck, we're doing a little neck strengthening here. Remember that board you were pressing the back of your head into a moment ago, the imaginary board? So you're going to push the back of your head towards an imaginary board. So this strengthens the neck because you have gravity. Wanting you to go the other way. Make sure you don't tip your chin up. So tuck your chin a little bit. Yep. Good. Okay. And then take 3 core breaths. So as you inhale, feeling a lengthening through your spine. And as you exhale, see if you can draw the navel back towards your spine. And then 2 more times with a nice quiet breath behind your mask or in your Zoom room. And 3rd exhalation, where you feel a little corset action around your middle. Place your hands on your thighs. Okay, put that action on the back of the head. Inhale and slide your way back up to sitting upright. Lead with the chest. All right, I think that worked. A lot of times I see the neck dragging up like this. So that would be more like relying on your joints to pull the head up rather than relying on the strength of your neck to pull your head up. Does that make sense? There's a like life example there. And so how many times do you bend over and drag your head up? Although you didn't do that now, but think about it next time you have to pick up that whatever on the floor, how you're going to lift your head up, how you're working with your spine. Are you dragging your shoulders or are you engaging your shoulders and your upper back to come up? Okay, we get to stand now. So you can slide those blankets back underneath out of the way and come up to standing. And you'll need your block for this next piece. I think everybody has a block. Actually, I just had you slide your blankets under, but you're going to need a little piece of mat. So you're going to want to move the chair forward a little bit. Thank you, dear. And then my Zoom camera. I'm realizing, Zoomers, that I should probably move back a little bit. That might help. Oh, there we go. That's better. Okay, sorry, I have some camera logistics so they can see me. Okay. Does that work okay? All right, I see the thumbs up. Okay. All right, so here's a place to put the block where you might not have ever put a block before in your life, is to put it between the calf muscles. And you want to be in the meatiest, use that term, but the fleshiest part of your calf muscle. So right in the middle. How does that feel? A little awkward again, but lots of awkward is good, actually. You know why? Because when we're mechanical, that's our usual, that's our familiar. And so when you go into the awkward, you're using places that you haven't used before or doing things in a way you haven't done before. And so that gives an opportunity for new movement, new patterns, new circulation, new blood flow to come into those areas. So when you put the block between the calf muscles, this strengthens the ankles and the knees. So a gentle squeeze there. And it also brings up that core energy into your body. Without dropping the block, can you just loosen your grip on the block a little bit? You can also maybe feel how much your butt was trying to hold the block. Did you get a little of that? See if you can keep the butt sort of out of the show and squeeze with just the lower legs. I mean, the buttocks will be firm because you're standing, but they're not like trying to hang on to that block way down there. Does that make sense? Feel a little better? Okay. I'm going to hop my way over here behind the chair. So the chair is there just for support in case you need it, because we're going to come up on the toes. So you might want to be behind your chair. Okay, how are you standing on the floor? So a lot of times, again, the wear and tear in the toes and the feet will be how you place your feet on the floor. So if you tend to roll into the big toe side of your foot, then that area can get a lot more wear and tear. And then the big toes and the second toes can start curling in because there's nothing there to cushion them. So see if you can spread the toes here like we did right at the beginning, and then set them down on the floor, nice and long. Good. And then you might need to use the chair for support, but just lift up a little bit so that you're on the center balls of the heels. So remembering that posture can be part of wear and tear. So being aware of, to be in balance as much as you can when you're standing starts at the feet. Okay, good. And now on an inhale, just come up on the toes. And on an exhale, bring the heels down. On an inhale, come up on the toes. On an exhale, come back down. On the inhale, come up. And as you exhale, can you put on your corset? Maybe having a hand, one of your hands there will help. So you can feel the action. So the inhale, when you come up, just a natural opening of the belly. And then as you exhale, a drawing back. Okay. So once you have your feet flat again, we'll go the opposite direction. So you can get your bearings with both hands on the chair to start with. And then as you inhale, lift up both front sides of the feet. And then place the feet down. And then as you inhale, lifting up the front sides of the feet and then down. So you still have a nice hold on that block. And then again, and come down. And last time with the lift of the front side of the foot, balancing on the heels. And now let's go back and forth. So as you inhale, you come up. Exhale down. Inhale, lift the front side. Exhale down, as evenly as you can. So every time you bring the feet to the floor, how evenly are you landing the feet? Really bring your attention there. Are you landing them evenly, or are you going into a pattern that you can see in your shoes? The inside is worn out or the outside is worn out more. See if you can get it nice and even on your mat. Okay, one last time where you're going up on the inhale, down on the exhale, do both sides so you get a full rotation. And then put the heels down. And then you can reach down and take the block out. We're going to use it again, but maybe give a little... Almost feels like you just got off a bicycle, you know, that feeling where you feel really light, you know, from squeezing the block. Okay, so now we're going to put the block, and it's nicer if it's on the narrow end between the thighs. So it's in the space between the knees and the pelvis. So you're not in the knee bones at all. So now just pop quiz. When we had the block in the calves, it was strengthening the ankles and the knees. What is this position of the block strengthening? Yep, knees and hips. Yep, so the joints, knees and hips. And then we're also innervating the pelvic floor, which is part of our core energy to stay upright posture. Okay, so before we go into this, let's just connect with the core breath. So any questions about that? Does everybody feel like you're getting the core breath when we do it? That was the one above the navel, one below the navel. Okay, let's just do 3 of those then. So the inhale, you just feel a natural expansion. And then as you exhale, I'm going to encourage you to get that action of the sh sound, but also to feel as if you're lifting the pelvic floor, like as you're trying to lift the block up towards the bottom of the pelvis as you exhale. As you inhale, it's just a natural opening of the belly and the pelvic floor. You might feel, you may not, but you might feel it just expanding a little bit. Again, it's another trampoline down there, a smaller one. It mirrors the action of the diaphragm. Okay, 3rd time. All right. So if you need balance, you're welcome to take your right hand on the chair, or if you want to stay in tune with that core breath and your balance feels pretty good today, we're not going to come up on the toes. You can have your hand on your belly. The left arm is out to the side. I'll do opposite. Okay. And so as you inhale, the palm is up, so you have external rotation. Inhale up. And then as you exhale, you're going to come into a little bit of a knee bend here, like a little squat, like you're going to sit down. Then as you inhale, come all the way up, straighten the legs, and then internal rotation, the palm flips down and you bring your arm down. So that's our rotation. So when you do that exhale and you go into the little squat, you're going to activate here. And then when you pull the arm down, you're going to work on your upper back core. Did you know you had an upper back core? So when you pull the arm down, it's not just the elbow moving like this. It's the shoulder blade activating. So we are getting posture to be more upright. So there's less wear and tear on your shoulders. Okay, there we go. Same side. Inhaling, legs are straight. Exhaling, feel that upper back core as you take the elbow down. Inhale all the way back up. And then internal rotation of the shoulder, exhale the arm down. Let's do one more time on this side. Now you don't have to lift the arm so high if that's not where you can go. Stay within your range of motion. Exhale, same thing here. You just want to feel even a teeny bit of action on your upper back. Inhaling up. Internal rotation, so you rotate from the ball joint and take the arm down. Did that feel okay for everyone? Okay, bend the knees, take the block out for a second and do a little bit of movement. A little hula hooping. How's it going over there, Phyllis? I see. Just moving them is helpful to you? Is that right? Is that what you need to do? Okay, good. Well, do that anytime you need to, and don't worry about stopping what we're doing here. Zoomers, are you okay in there? You can see and hear okay? Okay, and you're getting the core action? All right, I see thumbs up. I see yes, yes, yes. Just shout out if anything comes up. All right, we have another side to do. The one thing that I'm just noticing a little bit in the room about core is that when you come down, sometimes this happens. Can you see this? All right, so you are in a sitting down kind of motion, but there's not a whole lot going on here. Or there's this, where the shoulders try to stay in line with the pelvis. And so that puts a lot of compression on the low back. So just a little bit of alignment here. Shoulders are forward of the hips slightly. And then the hand is always nice, but if you're not using it, just feel the action of the belly going backwards into the lower back. Okay. So we want to use the block to encourage strength in the knee joints. A lot of times the knees become blown out because of sideways wobble. So this holds it in. And then the pelvis feeling compact. So you even want to feel as if your hip joints now are kind of sucking into the hip socket. Does that make sense? So we did some lengthening. Now we're activating in that area. Can you compact there? Okay. So then we're doing the other side, and you're welcome. That loose hand, if you need balance, is on the chair or if on the belly, if you want to feel that core action. Standing up tall, inhale. Exhale, upper back. Feel the shoulder blade rotating as you come down within your range of motion. Pay attention to your knees and what they're telling you. Good. Then inhale all the way up. Internal rotation, and take the arm down. External rotation, bring the arm up. Exhale, core action. Shoulders forward of the hips a little bit here. Neck core. Good. Inhale up. Internal rotation. Oftentimes when we go down into our squat, the chin wants to pop forward. So watch that. I'm seeing a little of it. Inhale up. Okay, neck core. So that board on the back of the head, press back as you come down. So a little double chin. That's okay. We all got them. Inhale, coming up. And turn the rotation and come down. Excellent. Okay. So much better on the second side. You're really fast learners. Okay. So then take the block out. You can imagine the block like when you're standing in line at the grocery store, when you're standing at the sink. So those are the things that you can think about. You can even take I have students that take blocks with them, like in the kitchen when they have to like chop things, or sometimes at the desk. They'll put between, because they tend to slump there. So that helps to lift this tall. So you can use this tool in a way in your life, however you can be creative. So let's take the hands on the outside of the backrest of the chair, the widest part, and however, you want to hold, you can hold the chair, you can widen the palms, whatever is good for your hands. And then just walk back, keep the elbows bent a little bit so the shoulders stay back, so that the heels come in line with your hips. And then here you're just going to do a little undulation. Again, those awkward places. So you have to bend the knees just a teeny bit. Then you don't even need to do it that much. And then just do some undulation into the hips, because we've just done a whole bunch of core work. We've done a whole bunch of compacting and strengthening. So here you're undulating all of that spaciousness back into your joints again. So circles, and almost like if you had some color on your tailbone. You were drawing a picture on a big whiteboard behind you, doing some scribbling, writing your name in cursive, however you want to think about it. But again, going into those awkward spaces will hydrate the tissues. Okay, and then come back to neutral. Inhale and walk in towards your chair. Okay, so one more standing pose. Are you up for it? Okay, so I'm just going to move my chair back so I'm on the mat. This one is Warrior 2, and I do understand that some folks have limited hip rotation. So you don't really have to be, you're like your classic yoga pose like this. You can be very shallow about it, and that's just fine. I don't know if Zoomers can see. So this is just perfectly fine. The main thing we want is the knee to be in the same direction as the toes. So this would be how, the classic yoga pose would be. And if this is what you can do, we're going to take the left leg out first. I'm mirroring you. Then you step wide and you turn that front foot around. But if this is too much for you, you can turn that foot in and even bring it closer into the leg. The other thing that we want to be really careful of is that we don't take the knee way beyond the ankle. Do you see what that can do? It puts a lot of pressure on the knee. It puts a lot of pressure on the ankle. So if you're going a little shorter in your stance, then don't go beyond your ankle with that knee bend. You're just going this teeny range. If you think you can go farther, then widen your feet. So I'm letting you be the judge of all of that alignment. And how we doing, Zoomers? Are you getting all of that? Just looking in, you're in teeny little squares there, so I'm just have to come close to check. Okay. Okay, so did everybody find there? And Laura, turn the back toes in slightly. I didn't mention that, but the back toes come in slightly. Okay, so that's internal rotation of that hip, and the other one's external, the front leg's external. And now we're gonna do a little test run and just bend that front knee a little bit and see how it goes before we get any farther. Does that feel good? Is the knee in line with the toes? Come back up again. Maybe another test run. Can you stay in that track? You want to think of almost like a train track because it's not wobbling around. It stays right there in that track. Okay, I think it would be better for you to turn your front foot in a little bit towards the front of you. It looks like it's turned out quite a bit from your knee. Not quite a bit, but a little bit. Oh, you know what? The fancy design on your pants was deceiving. It was. Okay, all right, so there's more to this. There's parts. Okay, so now here's the diaphragm, right? And so I want to encourage you to stay in touch with the diaphragm. But now the hands are kind of closed together here, right? At that point, inhale. So you feel an expansion at the diaphragm, not the chest. And then as you exhale, there's that elbow. Inhale, back to the diaphragm. And then there's the elbow opening. Good, and you can fan the fingers wide if you like. And then when the hands come back, the fingers come together. Now we come up a little higher and we add another element, the head turning towards your left. Now, wherever you can go, it doesn't have to look at the fingers. Come back up, head straightens, hands to the center. Only turn your neck as far as you can comfortably go. Don't wrench it around. Maybe you find a point that's not very far around to look at. It's always the gaze is really important with the head. So find a point on the wall that feels comfortable for you to look. You don't feel strain in your neck. And then this last time, go back to that same spot again where you found your comfort. And then stay in this position. And you may want to just glance down if you're comfortable with that at your knee. Is it still in line with your toes? Is it still pointing the same direction? Is it over the ankle? I saw some lovely adjustments. Okay, so endurance here. Stop sign. And then curl under both wrists. Stop sign. Open the fingers. Exhale. Can you core breath? Inhale the stop sign with expanding the diaphragm. Exhale, curl under with the core breath. And one more time. Stop sign and curl under. And then relax the arms down. Little endurance for the shoulders as well. Turn the feet forward, then step to the middle. Everybody okay? Okay, again, wear and tear. I'm just going to point out another thing. You may always, I don't know, when you go upstairs or do something, you lead with one leg. Can you see the wear and tear that can come? Which hip is going to get the most wear and tear? Yeah, my right hip. So a more even way to do this, and off, you know, we're not having the toes out to the side, you have them forward. So you step evenly to the middle. And if you really want to be mindful about it, you alternate. So this time when I did that, my right foot led. And the next time when I come out, after I do the other side, my left side will lead. You can get really intricate with it. Okay, so other side. Wide legs again, and then the back toes, so your left toes turn in slightly, internal rotation, and the other foot turns out, external rotation. And this is a totally different leg, a totally different hip joint, totally different ankle. So look at where this leg wants to go. So we're not being mechanical about it. You're looking and saying, okay, what does this leg need today? So do a couple test runs and make sure that the knee is over the heel when you bend and that it's pointing the same direction as the toes. Okay, got that? Okay, the chest faces the chair. Oh, but what does that do to the knee? Oftentimes you're looking like this and everything looks great, but then you turn your chest towards the chair and the knee falls in. So see if you can find the happy medium. Sometimes what that means is that you don't have the front leg turned out as much. Again, you're going to put a lot of wear and tear with the knee wobbling like that. Okay, does everybody get that? Pamela, I see that when you turn your chest, the knee does turn in a little bit. Can you keep it stable there as you turn the chest? Ah, yes, you can. Okay. So here we go. Inhale, and as you exhale, coming down into inhale. And then as you exhale, let's open the arms now. Inhale, expanding at the lower ribs, right where the hands are coming to. That's the expansion. Exhale and coming down. Watching that knee stays in line. Inhale up, stabilizing in the back heel. That's your anchor. And then we stay in this position. Oh, wait, we forgot the head. Coming up. And then as you exhale, now you just swivel with a nice tall spine. The head looks towards the front fingers, which for you is the right, but not necessarily at the fingers. So you're just finding where you can look this direction, find a spot on the wall and stick to it. Maybe it's a book or a part of the window frame. Actually, you don't have windows in your direction. Okay. And then last time, you look straight when you bring the hands up. And here you're going to take your gaze wherever it's good for you. And then again, the stop sign and the gentle curve. And the stop sign, spreading the fingers. Gentle curve, nice and stable through your stance. Last time, very quiet breathing behind the mask. And then coming up to neutral arms, straighten the front leg, bring the arms down, turn the feet forward. Does anybody know which foot stepped last time? Can you do the opposite and bring your feet to center? Okay. We've done a lot today already. So I'd like you to just turn the chair around. This is our last standing pose. And maybe I'll just turn just turn it around so the seat faces you. I'm just turning my chair this way so Zoom people and you can see me better. Just swivel that chair around. So remember when we did cat-cow in the seat? The main thing that you want to think about, I'm just going to grab this ball, is when you come up into, oh, I had one here. When you come up into the cow part, which is the this part here, a lot of people tend to really wrench their head back because you can. But I'm going to ask you to think about this ball. Maybe it's even a bigger ball for you. You have a longer neck. But when you come up, it's like you're wrapping the back of your neck around this ball. And then when you tuck your tail under, you're not jamming your chin, but you're staying within your range of motion here. Notice I have my knees bent. Okay, so imagine that there's a ball on the back of your neck, but don't come down yet into your forward bend. I'm going to talk you through it. And Phyllis, if you feel kind of done with standing, you can sit. Anybody can sit. Okay, so there you are in your mountain pose again. Do your feet feel different? Is your awareness different? Center balls of the heels, spread across the toes, standing up tall, inhale. And as you exhale, slightly bend the knees within your range of motion. And then as you exhale, take your core breath and draw your navel back. Keep your back head pressing backwards on the board, the imaginary board, and place your hands on the chair. Now, some people they find that spreading the hands on the chair is too much for their hands, and you're welcome to move your hands however your fingers can comfortably go. Some people find that the pressing of the hands is phenomenal to open the hands, so it's up to you. Now, on the inhale, you're going to keep your knees slightly bent, lift your tail and open your chest, and imagine that ball, shoulders go back, shoulders go back. And then exhale, the pelvis is getting a rock here, tucking the tail under, just a gentle opening of the back spine and a gentle tuck of the chin. And the breath is really, really quiet. Remember that subtle breathing? Bend your elbows. Yeah, like that. So the inhale is when the chest comes forward and the tail goes up. Imagine the ball on the back of your neck. And then as you exhale, tuck of the tail and a gentle bow of the chin. Try not to push too much into the upper back. See if you can round into the pelvis a little bit more than the upper back. So here you're just rocking the spine, rocking out all the effort of our practice. And then one more time. And then inhale and come to neutral. So neutral means you're not arching one way or the other in an exaggerated way. Your head is in line with the spine. The knees are still bent. You're going to imagine those blocks between your calves and your thighs. Imagine them. And then place your hands on your hip crease. Exhale, get your core breath on. Inhale and come up with a nice straight spine. Everybody's head comes with you. Good. So you're not dragging that 14 pounds or whatever up with the little neck muscles. Okay, how you feeling now? Okay, good. Anybody feeling something other than wonderful? I'll just put it that way. Okay, so those are the folks who feel more comfortable in a chair. You're going to bring yourself back into the chair and sit. Okay, and so for those of you who are comfortable with coming down to the floor, you're going to take those two blankets just as they are and stacked as they are and sit on the blankets in whatever way works best for you. So when I say that, that might be cross-legged. That might mean that you need to have your legs a little farther from your body. Okay. Do you notice as you sit in this position after all the work we've been doing, if it feels a little different? It's okay if it doesn't, but I'm just wondering, because this is, you know, when you sit, especially on the floor, it's really putting some demand on those hips to be able to open up. If you're feeling those hips pretty high, meaning they're above your hip level, the knee is above your hip level, or it's okay if it's a little bit above the hip level, that's fine. But if they're like way up there, almost feeling like they're on your knee, your ears, then you might want to put another blanket underneath your bottom. Julie, I'm wondering if another blanket might be good for you. Make sure you don't topple off of there. Okay. Anybody else feeling like you might want another blanket, like your knees are wrapping around your ears? Okay. How do you feel, Pamela? The main thing we want to be sure of is if you can sit like that and get the spine tall. Can you sit like that and get the spine tall? Yeah, and so another blanket underneath the bottom might be a way to do it, to see if that spine can lift up a little bit more. Is it uncomfortable with two? Little bit back in the spine there. Can we try a second blanket? not to like put a little spotlight on you here, but I just want you to be, we've been talking a lot about posture and how that can impact. Oh, I like that better. Okay. We like that. Yeah, that's easier. I'll take it. Okay. Let's do another little check-in with the breath, because this is something you can do on the ferry. You had quiet moments in your home before bed. You wake up. What's that? Waiting for the ferry and waiting for the ferry some more. So you don't necessarily have to use the hand gestures, but they're really nice right now for awareness. So one hand on the chest, one hand on the diaphragm. So this is just sort of a review. And then if you're detecting any movement as you breathe through the nose in your chest, bring more awareness to the lower hand at the diaphragm. And just imagining the movement of the diaphragm. Sometimes people will relate it to the shape of a jellyfish. So as you inhale, that circumference will widen out, sort of a nice, lovely undulation, watery. And then as you exhale, the dome of the jellyfish goes up like your diaphragm underneath the rib cage. So maybe that helps. Just a feeling of that diaphragm undulating back and forth. Okay, I think you all have it. It looks really good. Now take the top hand and put it on the bottom underneath the belly button. So now we do that same undulation of the diaphragm and then do a little more engagement of the abdominal muscles, like that sh sound we did. See if you can do it without the sh sound, but have that same feeling. And if you notice tension come in or your chest starts to get activated, then just do a couple normal breaths and settle down, reset before trying it again. So it's like a hug around your waist. You might even feel your lower back filling in a little bit of a strength happening in the low back. And just because we did a little bit of pelvic floor work with that block between the thighs, can you bring the pelvic floor in? That's also part of your core, like as if you were hugging a block. Can you do a little lift of that circumference at the base of the pelvis with the diaphragm? So that would be the exhale. Okay, so this is all part of how you would be standing at the sink. You can do it in the car as you're driving. You can even do it when you're talking to somebody, or maybe perhaps listening to somebody. Okay, I just want to get this into your day. Okay, and then the last piece is that quieter, subtler breath. So if you want to relax your hands, you can keep doing that engagement of your middle. But those with masks on, just feel a softness behind the mask. The breath very, very light on the inside of your mask. Those of you on Zoom, if you want to do the finger again at the upper lip and just feel awareness of the breath, the velocity of the breath, the rate of the breath, and everything reduces. And if you think about this reduced breathing as also reducing inflammation, it reduces stress. It reduces mind stuff, that chitter chatter. And then keeping that nice, lovely, slow breathing. Take your right hand where you're sitting right now and just start giving the muscles above your wrist a little massage. So a little squeeze and release oftentimes feels nice, or however you feel it being good for you. And then going into the muscles below the wrist, which would be your hand. So you can start getting into the base of the palm, the center of the palm, the back of the hand. You can imagine maybe some nice, lovely oil that you have that maybe has some anti-inflammatory herb in it, like arnica or something, rubbing this into your hand every night before bed. And then from here, you can start getting into the fingers, starting with the thumb. So it's kind of like those Chinese pull things, whatever they are, where you just start at the base of the joint, give it a little squeeze and just keep squeezing up all the way to the end of the finger, and then just give it a little pinch and then go to the next finger and squeeze, 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 and only when and how much it feels good. So maybe those joints don't want to be squeezed so much, but you're just giving them a little teeny stimulation if that's what's good for you. And then go through every finger till you get to the pinky. And if you're there already, which I see some of you are, then you can switch over to the other hand in that same order. You just give a little massage above the wrist into the forearm. Finding those places maybe even between the bones, helping to create space and circulation. And then a little below into the base of the palm, top of the hand, into the center of the palm, back of the hand, even the sides of the hands. And then once you come up to the base of the fingers, start with the thumb, catching at the base of the thumb, giving a little squeeze within your level of tolerance for that. And then every finger after that. A little pinch, gentle at the end of each finger. Lovingly, kindly. I know it gets frustrating sometimes, but they're doing the best they can, those fingers. Okay, and then let that go. And if it feels good to just allow your hands to do a little undulation after that, you can, or maybe it feels better to just rest them, whatever's good for you. So the chair people, please stay in your chair for this next round. The mat people, please come onto your backs. So chair people, you will do this next little exercise at the front edge of the seat. So we're coming down to the end. We're winding down. And so floor people, feet on the floor, knees bent, knees and feet together. Chair people, you will have your knees and feet together. Just checking in with my Zoom people here. And we're going to do a pose called dynamic butterfly. And for this one, you want to not go within your full range of motion. So some of you are a little stretchier than others. But when we open the knees apart from each other, please don't go all the way. Just don't flop them out. And that's the whole thing around just depending on the joints to do the work. We want the muscles to do the work. So knees are bent, those of you on the floor, knees are bent, and knees and feet together. And then as you inhale, you're going to widen the knees away from each other. You can let the bottoms of the feet turn towards each other, but don't go all the way to your max. Using the muscle like you're squeezing on a squishy ball between the thighs, pull the legs in. Sit up tall, those of you in the chairs. Inhale and open the legs. So the inhale is when the belly can open. And then as you exhale, you can use that core breath and scoop in at the lower belly. Third time, inhaling, widening the legs. Bottoms of the feet can turn, so we're getting a little in those ankles again. Exhale, and there's the scoop and the squeeze of the inner thighs, helping to stabilize the pelvis and the spine. Now just pause here for a moment when your knees are together. And you can place your hands on your belly. And we're going to get into the shoulders a little bit here with the legs. Unless your shoulders and elbows feel like they've had enough, then you can just let them rest, because I do understand we've been going at it for a while. So if you just need to rest your upper body, go ahead. If you want to go a little further into this, as you inhale, you're just going to wing open your arms as the knees open. And again, use that upper back. The shoulder blades are pressing into the back. Then as you exhale, the hands come back to the belly and the knees come together. So remember, don't go all the way to your max. Inhaling, so we'll just do 3 times in this variation. And exhale, close. And third time. So I wanted to end the class with not so much weight bearing, because that's what causes the compression, right? And so gravity is always part of what we're dealing with, and it can work to our advantage too. So those of you in the chair, you're going to take the heel out, one leg, doesn't matter which leg, and it might even be for shorter people to have a blanket underneath. Does anybody over here need a blanket I can toss underneath your heel? Okay, how about you, Pat? You're good? Good. So the leg lengthens out for you, those of you in the chair. For those of you on the floor, take your right knee in towards your chest and send your leg up. And I think everyone has a strap in case that's difficult for you, but catch the back of your thigh. Okay. And then remember that windshield wiper action that we did before? Go ahead and windshield wipe the entire leg. Now, so you're rotating the leg. So it's not going back and forth. Those of you on the floor, I'm sorry, can't see. Yes, you got it, Anne-Marie. So it's like internal, external rotation of the entire leg. So the ball and socket of your hip, nice, Edie, good, is going. So you're getting into your knee there. So can I help you? Oh, yeah. So it's this way and this way. So your hands can guide.
Okay.
Want to try that? Yeah, in the hip joint. Okay. Yes, I think all of you have it now. Okay. And then bring the leg to stillness. And I know those of you on the floor got your heel there. See how much you can rotate the ankle. So you might need to put your, so you're going to do circles. Circles. Just the ankle, not the knee, not the hip this time, just the ankle. Both directions. Yeah, that works on the floor. Okay, good. All right. And then go ahead and bring that leg in. Set it down. I'm glad you all got that rotation of the hip thing. Okay, so now the other leg, whether you're in the chair or the floor. So your right foot is important here for stability. So please have it flat on the floor, whether you're sitting or laying down. So Pamela, having the knee bent is nice for foot on the floor is good for stability. Can you bend this knee? Yeah, and then put that foot right on the floor for, there you go. And so you're not wobbling around. I know. Okay, same thing we did before. So it's in the hip. Can I help you, June? Okay, so I'm going to put hands on. Okay, so this way and this way in the hip crease. So not the whole thing moving, but think about ball and socket. Well, yeah, use your hands on here and see if you can get that whole thing to rotate. Not so much the pelvis shifting, but the ball in the socket. How's it going over here? Can I help? Okay, so this rotation is like without the pelvis, just the ball and socket. You got that? I think you got that. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. And then bring the leg to center and then do your ankle turns. So for you, you want to see if you can isolate that leg. Like there was a clamp there and you're just moving the ankle. Yeah, a little different. This is compensating for you, which is knee wear and tear. Okay, great. Both directions. Once you've done both directions, bring that leg down. Looks like Zoomers are doing good in here. I know that leg rotation thing was a little hard to understand. I should have demonstrated. Sorry about that. Okay. So the last thing, very last thing I promise you before our relaxation is again, so we opened up the hips. And now we're just going to give them a little squeeze. So those of you on the floor, just going to tuck your knees in and just do some hip rotation. So the knees move towards each other and away from each other, towards each other and away from each other. Those of you in the chair, you're going to have a different approach where you sit in the chair and then you just lean forward like we did before and then just do a little bit of pelvic rotation. So it's more of the pelvis rotating over the, yeah, if that's okay for everyone's back. That's right, Pat, looks like you got it. Getting into those stretchy spots or tight spots. Good. And so let's check on the Zoom folks. So in the chair, do we have anybody in the chair? No, you're all on the floor and doing just fine. Okay. All righty then. We're going to go into a relaxation. How does that sound? So those of you in the chair, I encourage you to find the back of the chair. And if that means that you need to have something underneath your feet or underneath your back, those of you on the floor, we got blankets for underneath the knees. We're going to do a little meditation for all of your joints. So it's going to be good to have all of your joints relaxed. Can I put these underneath your knees? Just let them go. So every joint being relaxed. I know those of you sitting, it's a little harder up into the neck area, but as much as you can support your spine, you will get more out of this. So a little support on your back, a little support underneath your feet for those sitting. And then sometimes, Leanne, can I put these underneath your knees so you can stretch your legs out comfortably? Would that be okay? Okay, and then there's something over here. Oh, if you want a blanket on your lap, those of you sitting in the chair, that might help the shoulders. We have more blankets so that your shoulders don't feel like they're being dragged down. How do you feel? You want to just try it? I'm going to grab this blanket behind you. You're taller, so are you okay? Okay. I like that you have that there, so it's not dragging your arms down, but let's see what that feels like. Yeah, good. That looks good, Phyllis. How about you? You want to try a black blanket for your shoulders so they don't drag forward? You can keep them more upright. Want to try? You can always say no. I'm going to grab this blanket. This one I got already. And you know what? You can always toss it aside if it's not working for you. Just for the shoulders. Okay. All right. Okay. So we've just done quite an exploration. And feel the support underneath you. Whatever position you're in. Using that support to help you relax your body. Those of you on the floor, again, having the inner arms open at the shoulder joint. So not just turning at the wrists, but the shoulders open can help change patterns of hunching. So having that external rotation of the arms. And the shoulder blades feel flat underneath you. In this meditation, I will be bringing your attention to the various joints in your body in a systematic order. Please listen to my voice and allow your attention to go to the places in your body that I am naming. And bring in a vision of spaciousness, relaxation, and a cleansing feeling to the joints. To begin with, start to tune into your breath. Your breath can help direct your attention and the cleansing visualization for your joints. You can use that first diaphragmatic breath, so we're not doing the core breath, but combining that with reducing the volume a little bit with the little pauses at the end of the exhalation. So imagine something that feels cleansing to you, a cleansing type of feeling or visualization. It may be a soft cleansing breeze, or a cleansing cool wash, or something else that brings a felt sense of a sweeping cleanse for your joints. Can I help you? Can I help you? Okay. All right, great. Once you feel like you have a connection to a cleansing feeling, imagine this sweeping from your head to your toes on an exhale. It might just be a felt sense. Three times. Let's begin this relaxation of all your joints from your head to your toes, starting with your head. Let your whole head relax. Across your face, your eyes, your scalp, even your ears feel as if they're relaxing. Now bring your attention to your jaw. Relax your lower jaw, keeping your lips closed. Feel your left jaw joint becoming spacious. Your right jaw becoming spacious. Then both sides of your jaw together becoming spacious and relaxed. Now move your attention to your neck. Feel all the little spinal joints in your neck. The back neck, front neck, left side neck, and right side neck. Relax your whole neck. Bring your attention to your left shoulder, all around the shoulder joint. Your back shoulder, front shoulder, your whole shoulder. Then to your left elbow joint, your left wrist, your left hand, your left thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger, and left pinky finger. Bring relaxation and a cleansing feeling to your whole left shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand, and fingers. Bring your attention to your right shoulder, all around the shoulder joint, front shoulder and back shoulder. Then to your right elbow, your right wrist, your right hand, your right thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger, and right pinky finger. Bring relaxation and spaciousness to your whole right shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand, and fingers. Now bring your attention simultaneously to both your left and right shoulders, elbows, wrists, hands, and fingers together. Bring your attention to your spine, starting at the base of the neck. Feel all the joints of your spine from the base of the neck through the center of the chest and upper back, into the middle back, down into the lower spine, and into the sacrum to the tailbone. Now, as you take your next exhale, feel a cleansing sweep down the spine, bringing spaciousness and relaxation into every little joint in the spine, from the base of the skull, through the center of the chest, into the middle back, down into the lower back, into the sacrum, and down to the tailbone. Bring your attention to your left hip. Imagine the left hip softening and becoming more spacious. Your front hip, back hip, inner left hip, and outer left hip. Relax all around your left hip. Move your attention to your left knee, under the kneecap, the back knee, the inner left knee, and the outer left knee. Relax your whole left knee. Bring your attention to your left ankle, the front ankle, the back of your ankle, the inner left ankle, and the outer left ankle. Relax your whole left ankle. Relax your whole left foot, the bottom of the foot, top of the foot, inner left foot, and outer left foot. Relax every toe, your left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and left pinky toe. Relax your whole left foot and toes. Now bring your attention to your right hip. Imagine the right hip softening and becoming more spacious. Your front hip, back hip, inner right hip, and outer right hip. Relax all around your right hip. Move your attention to your right knee, under the kneecap, the back knee, the inner right knee, and the outer right knee. Relax your whole right knee. Bring your attention to your right ankle, the front ankle, the back of your ankle, the inner right ankle, and the outer right ankle. Relax your whole right ankle. Relax your right foot, the bottom of the foot, top of the foot, inner right foot, and outer right foot. Relax every toe, your right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and right pinky toe. Relax your whole right foot and toes. Bring your attention simultaneously to both your left and right hips, knees, ankles, feet, and toes together. Now at the end of our meditation, tune into your breath. With your breath, direct your attention and the cleansing visualization or felt sense through your joints. It may be a soft cleansing breeze, a cleansing wash, or something else that brings up a felt sense of sweeping cleanse for all of your joints. As you exhale, imagine a cleansing action sweeping through all your joints from your head, down your spine, through your limbs, to your toes. Do this 3 times with your exhale, cleansing from top to bottom. Now, coming out of this guided meditation, start to bring your attention to the surface underneath you, the air moving over your skin, the room around you, any sounds in the room. Slowly bring your body to life by wiggling your fingers and toes, or any gentle movement that feels good to you right now. When you're ready, those of you on the floor, please bend your knees, take your time. And when you're ready, you can roll over to the side and gently open your eyes. Use your arms to push yourself up to a sitting position on the blankets. Those of you in your chairs, come alive. So again, thank you for being here, and I hope that it helped you in many ways. I'll stay a little after class if any of you have any questions. I'm just giving good intention for balance and health, mobility, comfort, all of those things. So bring your hands up in front of the chest, and the light within me greets the light within you. Namaste. And Zoomers. Yeah.
Thanks, Llewellyne.